Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back to Wagman 510. If you're new here, well, welcome. And to my returning folks, hey, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Pat was wagging her finger at me, and rightfully so. I've been kind of pushing it from both ends. But if you could see, there's a reason why. And it's just that I have to get that area all put away because, as I told you, the place is not company ready, and company can arrive at any minute. And that gives me my company or guest, what I call guest anxiety down here. Plus, it's not nice for the husband either. So I do want to make sure that it's all done. And while I was doing all of the organization and clearing out everything, it was a really good time to clear out, as I showed you my stash, and say, okay, why aren't you using this paper? Like, what's up with this? And there are people that can use it for sure. So many of you responded. I took a quick read through the comments this morning when I got up and started my first cup of coffee. And I'm really happy that y'all are interested in the paper because that makes me happy and I can happily package it up and send it off. And in a couple of cases, y'all like that galaxy paper. That blew me away. I was like, really? Maybe I just don't see the potential in that paper. It really was for a specific project for a teenage girl that really loves stargazing. But I guess I don't see the same magic in it the way you guys do. But it was interesting how many of you love it. So that, I think we have to know ourselves as makers. And it was really nice to hear that you too don't have a huge amount of paper. That made me feel really good too because, sometimes I see these craft room tours and people have like hundreds of paper pads. And or I'll go to a friend's house and they'll have a collection of paper that is just like, wowzer, I don't know, definitely over 100 paper pads. And so what I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't have that much, but I do use it up. So like that Prima pad that I told you guys about last night, like I've bought it 3 times. I've just gotten really lucky. I bought it at the Hobby Lobby sale, so I've paid like under $3 every time for that pad. One day I'm
It's 12 o'clock.
One day I'm gonna have to pay full price for it, but I haven't yet. But that pad I always use up, and then I just repurchase. And it's the same thing with my Maggie Holmes. Like I just never have anything left. And now I've gotten really good thanks to Susan Tootsie Tucker. I measure out everything, so I use every last scrap. And my scrap bin is really small right now. I mean, that's going to change over the next 2 weeks, but it is really small right now. It's not a shameful pile at all. It's teeny, teeny, tiny. So it was nice to be able to say to you guys, this is what my collection looks like, including the paper pads you sent. And it was also good to hear, other people said, okay, yeah, I don't have a lot of paper. I've got this much paper or I buy loose sheets because I like them better because that way I'm for sure going to use every last piece. And I get that too. As I told you, when I first started buying pads, I bought the 6x6s because I wasn't sure if I would use up the whole sheet. And I don't like to waste anything. Now I've come to the place where I want a bigger sheet because I want to do all sorts of things. Also, I like to do larger projects now, and they require bigger sheets. So my 6x6s are almost all used up. I only have a few that aren't, and the rest of them are pretty much like 80 to 90% used up, and I will just end up finishing those last couple of sheets. And it's not that I won't buy another 6x6. They're really handy for when you travel. They're very handy for like if you're doing a tag flip, they can be the best thing to use. And May's brag book, the first level is a 6x6 folded in half. So they do come in handy. But my primary purchase will always be now a 12x12 because I can cut it down to a 6x6. But if I see a really great one like at a Tuesday morning for $2.99 and it's a collection I don't have, then I might pick it up. But it was really nice to hear, and I'm going to go through those and see who's going to get which pad and just get that wrapped up and packaged up and sent off in the mail. I got to tell you, Lizzie, I smiled because you like the Galaxy pad. But what I didn't show this week in my haul video is that I actually hauled you a pad of paper. And I wanted it to be a surprise. So you actually do have a pad of paper coming. It's not Galaxy paper, and I was so surprised you like that Galaxy paper. I think I don't yet understand your aesthetic. I know you like butterflies, but I'm not sure that I yet know your making aesthetic. So I was like, I hope I got her the right pad. We'll see. But you do have a pad coming to you. It's just not one of the ones you saw. Guys, I want to draw your attention. I don't know if y'all saw. It's okay, honey. Come on through. He's worried he's interrupting a video, but when I'm not doing a project share, it's okay. He's waving hello. Good morning. Did y'all see Sabrina's video this morning? I'm going to text her. I literally, guys, I told you I was going to wake up late because I was up late last night cleaning and reorganizing and doing. I was very heartbroken for her on so many levels. You know, Sabrina has a strong spirit. She really does. You can kick that girl, she's going to get right back up. But I think this took the wind out of her sails. This horrible, horrible, horrible event took the wind out of her sails. And you know, even strong folks can have the wind kicked out of them. And speaking of kicking, they kicked her dog, folks. They kicked her dog and injured her dog. So on top of losing all of her gifts for her kids, on top of her home being invaded after she just recovered from a back surgery, they kicked her dang dog. So I think this for her was just spirit-wise, it just sucked all the air out of her for a minute. And knowing Sabrina, she'll get back up because that's just who she is. But I think, you know, it's going to be heartbreaking for her to recover from. So our community is great. I know that. And I know that what I'm about to say, all of you are already thinking about. But if there is any way that you can brighten this lady's Christmas, maybe she has a whole posse of kids, guys. You know, we see Katie because Katie is her co-host often, and we all love Katie. So Katie's real easy because we all know her, right? We know she loves unicorns. We know she loves to do craft projects with her mom. We know she started middle school, and so she needs to be a little more hip because, you know, they're pretty judgy at middle school. I mean, Katie is easy to get something for because we all know her well. But she has other kids too. She has some kids who are grown and like they have partners and children. And she has a very supportive husband who I will tell you did a lot of military service in his life and is super supportive of both she as a person, she as a crafter and an artist. He always helps out. He is really, and he was amazing through her surgery. So it'd be real nice if we could all think of something to get him for Christmas because he's been an amazing source of support throughout this whole ordeal. And now there's nothing underneath the tree for him at all. So I know I didn't have to say this. I know those of you who watched that video are already tick-tocking in your mind like I am. What can we do to make this better for her? And I'm sure that we can do something. I'm sure we can together. It might not get there in time because unfortunately now what the crisis we have is that it's 5 days before Christmas and my post office is telling me they're way behind. That it's likely that, you know, it's true what Ali said. It may not be their fault because they are way behind. And so even if you put it in the mail today, it's unlikely it's supposed to get there before Christmas, but it just may not. But just to encourage you to think about that and what we can do to make this a slightly brighter season and to reignite a little bit of Sabrina's spirit. Because, you know, folks, I think what's most important is that this sucked the air out of her. And she just needs to feel supported through it. That's what needs to happen. It's not going to make her feel less invaded. It's just going to make her feel more supported and back up on her feet to fight. Right? Thanks so much, all of you, for your amazing comments around the paper, too. And I think maybe when this is all set up, some people have asked for a new tour of my craft space here, so I'm happy to give it. But I was also thinking I'd show you some of my supplies and why, you know, you can take a look and see some of my bins are real empty and why some bins are full and which things I really value, like my tools here that I didn't have for the last 7 months and why I value them. I was just saying to my husband this morning that if I could redo this whole process all over again, like when you're a starting crafter, you don't really know what you need. You know what you like. You know that you like certain kinds of patterns. Like I like color, so you know, my first instinct was to buy colorful paper, but I didn't really think about the tools. And because I came from an old school art background, I figured, oh, I can manage without these tools. I can just work around it. And you can, but it's not as neat and it's not as clean. And what I learned over time is that if I could have redone this again, I would have bought certain tools first. Before buying paper and fancy embellishments or anything like that, I would have bought tools first. And that was a really interesting lesson. One that you sort of have to learn as you grow as a crafter. You know, until Dina, I didn't own Primo flowers because I just didn't buy them for myself. I just made my own flowers. You know, when I did that swap with Sabrina last year, I just learned how to make flowers. It's just that simple. But I love having the Primo flowers. But I think what I've prioritized in my life is that certain good quality tools make a big difference. And for me, quality of paper matters. And having things like cardstock matters. Those are the most important things for me. And scissors that work well and cut straight and a paper cutter. These are all the priorities for me. The other stuff, guys, is just window dressing, honestly. Whether you've got one pack of flowers or you have to punch out a bunch and make them yourself or die cut them. Or, you know, the rest is just It's window dressing, and I know we all love that window dressing. It's like everyone says the most fun part of doing this paper crafting is the decorating. I love the decorating too, but it's actually not my most fun part. For me, like I think learning how to build something is so exciting. And I do get nervous, like I told you. Cartons are on my aspiration list, and I hope to share those with you. Maybe today when I take my break later this afternoon, I'll share my aspiration list, which was inspired by all of you. But I'm afraid of making a carton. But once I learn how to make it, I know I'm going to love doing it, because that's how I feel about bookmaking. Bookmaking for me is a real passion. I'm not yet good at it, but I'm getting better. And as I learned how to build more and more types of books, I found it really exciting. So I love building them as much as I love decorating them. This was a long-winded video. I'm on 10 minutes already, y'all. See what happens when I get chit-chatting with you in the morning? The other thing I want to draw your attention to, and this is important, is that Ara, the paper treasury, does not have a die cutter, folks. She does not. And this is something that we need to think about. In the past, when we have known that people don't have a die cutter, we have figured it out. We have figured out how to get them a die cutter. And I think that we are in another situation where we have a super talented creator, as we all know, super talented, and oh so supportive, who is without a tool. So it is right now the Christmas season, which puts everybody under a lot of strain, both financially, time-wise, and so forth. So I'm not raising it right now as one of our, let's get behind this and figure it out, but I am going to raise it in the new year, because I know we are capable of doing this. If we all band together, we can get this done. We've done it before, and we can do it again. So I'm just giving you a heads up. That's coming down the pipeline. Oh yes it is. So again, please, if you pray, keep Sabrina in your prayers. You know what was great is that they're praying for the people that took their stuff, because they're thinking, to do that to a family, you must need a whole lot of help with your soul. I knew exactly what she was saying when she said that. But it still takes a special person to do that, because most would just be cursing and not praying. So even though, Sabrina, you think for a second you lost your spirit, you haven't lost your spirit. Because everyone else would be damning those people. And you're like, I won't pray for you, because I know your soul's damaged. So those of you that pray, please pray for Sabrina and her family. Those of us who do well wishes, please keep her in your thoughts today. And those of us that are creative and can figure out maybe how to brighten this situation a little bit, let's get moving, because we're best when we're acting, right? All right, y'all, that's it. That's it for this Thursday. Long-winded. Good morning, y'all. I hope whatever you do today, that it is something that gives you some rest. I got a wagged finger from Miss Pat because I was not taking enough rest. And I'll be honest, yesterday was a tough day. And it did take a toll. My husband totally saved the day. And so I probably looked pretty wretched by the end of it. But I did sleep in today. And it's the first night I actually got some sleep. So hopefully I will be feeling better by the end of the day. Sometimes that's how it works with autoimmune. You wake up feeling, and then you feel better as the day goes on. So that's what I'm hoping for today. For each of you, I hope you do something creative. If you can't do something creative, then I hope you do something that gives you a holiday cheer. Or I hope you just sit and watch a great video. Sometimes that's all we need, is to hear the other person giving us some great advice on how to make something, or we get inspired by someone else's ideas, or we just get joy like we did this week watching Ara open up her boxes. She was so joyful. We all have something that we can give one another here, and we do freely each and every day, and that's what makes it an amazing place. All right, y'all. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday.